What's up, athletes and sports science fans? Welcome back to the Injury Breakdown, where we don't guess outcomes. We explain them. Today, we're zeroing in on the moment Anthony Davis went down with that right groin strain during the Mavericks Christmas Day game against the Warriors. Picture this in slow motion. Davis, sprinting hard in transition to catch a hit-ahead pass, suddenly pulls up, favoring his right side. The twist in his pelvis, the sudden deceleration, and that sharp, non-contact pop sensation you've heard athletes describe all happen in less than a second. While the broadcast replay focuses on the limp and the grimace, the real story is unfolding microscopically within his musculotendinous complex. This isn't just a tear, it's a compromise of structural integrity in a region that acts as the biomechanical fulcrum for everything explosive on the court. On a scale from "I'm turning off the TV" to "he'll be back next week," what was your immediate reaction when you saw Davis go down? This injury is particularly challenging for a player of Davis's caliber and role. As a power forward center, he demands rapid acceleration, multi-directional cutting, and sustained defensive slides, all movements that load the adductor complex intensely. The groin muscles, especially the adductor longus, are essential for stabilizing the pelvis and transferring forces during those explosive plays. An injury here isn't just painful, it threatens the very foundation of his court mobility. Hey sports fans, join us as we analyze the medical reality of elite sports. The Injury Breakdown, explaining injuries, not guessing outcomes. Let's talk biomechanics. The mechanism of injury here is classic for a groin strain in basketball. A rapid eccentric contraction of the adductors during a high-velocity lateral sprint and sudden deceleration. When Davis tried to accelerate to catch that pass, his inside leg planted hard, generating substantial torque and shear forces across the pubic symphysis and the musculotendinous junction of the adductor longus. The force coupling system of the pelvis, which integrates the adductor group with the lower abdominal muscles, was overloaded in a split second. The nervous system, detecting this overstretch and microtrauma, likely triggered spasms as a protective response, which explains the groin spasms that forced Davis off the court. For the athletes watching, have you ever experienced that sudden sharp pop or tight spasm in the groin during explosive movement? Drop your experiences in the comments for the community. Anatomy 101. Think of the groin complex as the suspension cables of a bridge. The adductor muscles, including the longus, brevis, magnus, gracilis, and pectineus, along with the iliopsoas and rectus abdominis, converge at the pubis, forming a highly integrated force transfer system. The external oblique aponeurosis interdigitates with the adductor longus aponeurosis, creating a conjoined tendinous structure that stabilizes the pelvis during dynamic movement. This architecture means that damage in this area disrupts not just a single muscle, but the entire biomechanical synergy required for cutting, jumping, and lateral movement. Medical quiz time. Which of these structures is the primary stabilizer during lateral cutting? The adductor longus tendon, or the external oblique aponeurosis? Hold that thought. We'll reveal the answer shortly. Severity classification matters here. Based on current sports medicine literature, groin strains are graded I through III. Davis's injury has been reported as a minor or grade 1 strain, meaning less than 5% muscle fiber disruption, localized pain, and preserved strength and range of motion. Grade 1 strains typically sideline players for about 1 to 3 games, translating to roughly 7 to 10 days of absence. This aligns with the Mavericks' cautious approach, given Davis's history of soft tissue injuries. Surgery is rarely indicated for grade 1 strains, reserved instead for rare grade 3 complete ruptures involving surgical repair with anchors or tenotomy. If you were in Davis's shoes, would you opt for a conservative rehab timeline to protect your long-term career, or push aggressively for a faster return? Let us know your thoughts. Looking at the spectrum of success, history offers instructive parallels. Brandon Roy's significant adductor strain in 2010-11 sidelined him for 18 games. And while he returned to play quickly, his explosive first step and scoring efficiency never fully rebounded for months. Contrast that with LaMarcus Aldridge's 2015-16 groin strain. His playing style minimized eccentric loading, enabling a quicker return to near pre-injury performance. Russell Westbrook's multiple groin injuries highlight the re-injury risk in maximum usage guards reliant on explosive acceleration. More recently, Montrezl Harrell's bench role allowed him a faster return to performance, underscoring how usage and positional demands influence rehabilitation timelines. For Davis, a high-usage power forward with a history of related injuries and age considerations, the most realistic path likely lies somewhere between these cases. Which historical path feels most realistic to you? Drop your predictions below. Now, onto biology and the performance gap. Returning to play is one thing, regaining pre-injury performance is another. Kinesiophobia, the fear of movement or re-injury, plays a significant role here. The first explosive cut or sprint post-injury tests psychological readiness as much as physical healing. Research in ACL populations shows that fear and confidence predict actual return to sport success independently of physical recovery. Although no groin-specific psychological scale exists, the principles translate directly. Mental rehearsal, graded exposure, and confidence-building exercises are crucial components in bridging the gap between clearance to play and true return to performance. So, medical clearance is one thing, but do you think Davis will regain 100% of his explosiveness? We want to hear your take. What's the verdict? Best case scenario, Davis follows a structured rehab protocol and returns to play within 7 to 10 days, consistent with grade 1 strain timelines. Return to performance, meaning 95% or greater of pre-injury scoring efficiency and defensive intensity, could take 3 to 4 weeks post-injury. However, red flags include scar tissue maturation timelines that extend mechanical vulnerability up to 6 to 8 weeks, neuromuscular deficits that linger beyond pain resolution, and compensatory motor patterns that risk secondary injuries. The literature suggests a 12 to 18% risk of re-injury within 30 days if workload progression isn't carefully managed, especially given Davis's age, 32, and prior injury history. Optimism meter. On a scale from 1, career over, to 10, better than ever, where are you placing Anthony Davis right now? Drop your number in the comments. In the immediate hours post-injury, the Mavericks medical team will implement the gold standard acute management: RICE, rest, ice, compression, and elevation, combined with early pain-free range of motion exercises. MRI imaging within 48 to 72 hours is critical to confirm the extent of tissue involvement and exclude concurrent injuries such as rectus abdominis or iliopsoas strains. This imaging guides prognosis and rehab progression. As Davis moves into weeks 3 and 4, advanced modalities like blood flow restriction training may be integrated to accelerate strength recovery while minimizing pain and mechanical stress. This cutting-edge approach stimulates muscle hypertrophy pathways at low loads, crucial for an elite athlete balancing rapid return with tissue healing. So here's the triple question for you. What's your biggest takeaway from this breakdown? Who should we analyze next? And did this deep dive change your opinion on Anthony Davis's injury outlook? Remember, at the Injury Breakdown, we don't guess outcomes. We explain them. See you in the next one.